Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the Ekasi Esports Chess Series. This is week 5 of the Ekasi Chess Series. I am your host. Hopefully, today we'll keep you entertained. Me and my brother Sneh. I'm perfect, no pun intended, and I'm with my homie Sneh. What's happening, Sneh? Oh,
What's good, OG? Mr. Perfect.
How
I'm
you-
hype. I'm ready for some chess.
Yeah.
I'm excited. It's gonna be a good day.
Yeah, it's gonna be a great day. Like, we hopefully want to see some fire chess action in today's stream. The past 4 weeks have been really cray cray, because I didn't expect to get as many people, being excited and also participating in this tournament. But luckily for us, I guess we do have some chess people who have chess in their hearts. So they are set up. We're just waiting for today's people to load in, and then we should be live in a couple of minutes. The game should be going live today at 3:20. The rundown of what's happening. This is the Ekasi Esports Chess Series. It's broken up into 2 parts. So we have the weekly leagues and we got the playoffs. Currently we're having the 8 weekly leagues, which consists of 8 weeks, and each week 32 participants get to play and participate and fight for a spot in the playoffs. So only 8 per week will head on to the playoffs, and just to make it a bit more exciting and more spicy, and just to give people more motivation, we're also giving away cash prizes to the top 3 in each week. So first place gets 400 rands in cash, second place gets 200 rands in cash, and third place gets 150 rands in cash. And this is all powered and made possible by Vodacom World. So shout out to them, for coming through and helping this awesome chess tournament. I think this is one of the first few chess tournaments that we've had in the country so far. I think it's the second one. Yeah, I think it's the second one, right? The first we had it like earlier this year. So yeah, so hopefully we will have more chess tournaments. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You're saying? So I think we got I cut you off there. You're saying?
I was gonna say, like you were saying, it is.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no. Like you were saying, it is the second one of the year. And indeed, one of the things that I really like about these kind of series is that it's not just a quick flash in the pan moment. The fact that it's this long, drawn out league means that people have time to develop their strats, learn from one another, come back better and stronger. And I think it's a testament to the fact that it's working, that we see even people that placed top 3, top 4 in the first week coming back week after week. And we're not getting the same person who's placing at the top every single week. It keeps changing up. It keeps being different because players are learning from each other, adapting, and figuring out new ways to approach the game. And we spoke about this just before the league portion started in itself. That leading up to the playoffs, it's not enough to just think, well, I'm a very high-rated player. It is what it is. You need to be able to learn exactly what the enemy or your opponent wants to do. If you have familiarity with their style of play, you have a little bit of an easier road than just relying on raw skill. You can recognize the opponent's tells. You can be like, normally they try and do this. Normally this is the kind of opening that they go for. Normally this is how they approach the mid game. So if you're also the player where you notice something has changed, then in the playoffs, you don't have to be sitting there being like, oh God, something's different, everything's changed. You'll be like, this is a change that they've made by learning from me, and this is my counter to what they've tried to counter against me. So I really like this long format. I really like the fact that people are always out here giving their all, giving their best, learning from each other, and perfect every single week. How is it possible that literally every single week we get a different person at the top spot? It's kind of incredible, right?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, because I expected maybe we'll have that one player who just like beat everyone in the first week, and then he'll come back again the second week. Because according to the rules, we take only 32 participants per week. But it doesn't say that if you already participated or already qualified for the playoffs, you can't register again. So it's possible for you to register this week, win that 400 rands in cash, come back next week, win another 400 rands in cash, come back the week after and win another 400 rands in cash. That's just more money in your bank account. So why wouldn't you not do that? But I expected to see something like that, but I've been proven wrong so far. I don't know. We still have like 3 weeks left. So this is the 4th, yeah, it's the 5th week. So we still got like another 3 weeks after this one. So I don't know if we're still going to see someone, bring that domination. But so far, yeah, like you said, we've had different winners across these past couple of weeks. And looking at the player list today, let me just like read it out to the people at home. We have a couple of people who are returning. So we got Tabs Jr., who has played before. We have Vusam. I'm sorry if I butchered your name. Who seems to be a new name in the server. I guess that's why I'm not getting his name correct. Then we got Volatile 06. He seems to be also new. We got Coronations, who was actually last week's winner. Coronations, yeah, was last week's winner. So he's back. He's trying to get back. He's trying to get their 400 rands in cash for this week.
Yeah, Coronations won last week, yeah.
Yeah, we got Lazy Cash. Lazy Cash, he's been here since day one, since the first week, and he has, I think his highest placement was second place. So he's still yet to win. He's still yet to be in the top spot. And then we got Jaden Sire Smith, who was actually one of the people who tied last week. He tied for first place, and he had to play a tiebreaker against Coronations, and that obviously led to Coronations winning and grabbing the top spot. And we got Problem X. He was here last week. Unfortunately, didn't place that high, but I'm sure this week he gemmed. Shama push-ups, hit the sit-ups, and then ran 10 miles and then drank some raw eggs and stuff, and
did some chest ups.
yeah, he's ready for this week. An old Rocky Balboa on it. And we got Clips. He has a lot of Z's in his name. We got Clips in the server. He seems like a new name. We got a returning name this week. We got Sully. He was here I think the first 3 weeks, and then I think he skipped the fourth week. I guess he was doing some more training. Yeah. And we got Luquisance. He's been here since day one. We got Sibu, and we also got Kapalot. Yeah. Oh, Kapalot. Yeah, Kapalot, and we got Emilio. Yeah, and we got Emilio Carlos.
I love how you went Kapalot, man, because
yeah,
you could have gone for the easy version and just said Kapalot, but I'll take Kapalot.
Kapalot. No, Kapalot.
Kapalot. The Ekasi pronunciation.
Yeah, the Ekasi pronunciation. You know what I'm saying? Because that's how we do it. Kasi style. And then we got Carlos. We have Carlos in the server as well. And yeah, so we're just waiting for the matches to begin. I think we have like 1 minute on the clock till the matches begin. So who do you have your money on this week? Who do you have your money on this week for this tournament for week 5?
So, for me personally, I'm going to select the top 2. I'd say either between Taps Junior or Coronations. Okay. I really like what the two of them were doing in terms of how they played last week. Yeah. I think, didn't Taps Junior get, I forgot, there was 1 week where Taps Junior beat Bekra, and then another week where Bekra beat Taps Junior. But I forget the order of operations if Taps Junior lost first and then came back. But I think the hardest opponent for Taps Junior has reliably been Bekra across the last couple of weeks. And Bekra is not here today. Bekra is going to be away for the next couple of weeks, so that means that Taps Junior will have an easier road to get to that top 2 position. Yeah. So I'm really favoring Taps Junior, and then my second, obviously, winning last week is going to give him a nice momentum boost. So I think Coronations will be someone to look out for as well. But Taps Junior is my number 1 seed. What about you, Mr. Perfect? Who you got your money on this time?
I got my money on Coronations. He's the winner for last week, and he's been really active. So we haven't seen much from him yet. So I feel like he's a good chance of taking it again this week. But Jaden Sire Smith is also here again, and he was giving people a thrashing. So I don't know. He might also be a contender, but I have my money on Coronations. And also just looking at here, the games seem to have went underway. So which game do you want us to check out first? There's a bunch of games. We had
let's do Coronations and Luquisance, right?
Let's do Coronations.
Luquisance also been out here a lot, and this is because I feel like Luquisance has also been our sort of dark horse, right? Every single week, if something weird is going to happen in a game, it's probably going to come from Luquisance, right? So it's fun to see them play.
Yeah, and looking at the board already, Luquisance going for that aggro play, already has his pawn on e4, but seems like he doubled them up. So it seems like they went for an early pawning. So he got a free pawn. So I don't know if that was a gambit. I missed the early couple of moves, but it looks like he got a free pawn from Coronations. Not a free pawn, but it was a pawn exchange. And this seems to be interesting because he has went for the center quite early on, and he might look to maybe take more control of the center and develop more of his pieces and just have a good game. But yeah, it's the early rounds of the game, so we can't really give you guys a prediction of who's in a better position at the moment. But yeah, let's just see how this develops off and see how it goes.
It's going to take a while, I think, before it really is clear who's got the dominant advantage. Right now, pawn for pawn, knight for knight, very even trade on both sides. In my opinion, it's somewhat beneficial for Coronations because you know how much I really enjoy these kind of strategies that allow you to get your special pieces, in particular your queen, out and about into the middle of the board without really upsetting anything else that's happening. on your side. And I don't like this move, though, that Cannon's in from the queen, because I kind of feel like you're in a position where full retreat is perfectly acceptable. Just make sure that the queen has availability for movement. But now the queen is blocking off advancements in the D file. It becomes kind of complicated to use the bishop that's sitting on black. We see now B2 is going to be quite complicated for that bishop to do anything in this game. So you've actually just kind of landlocked yourself now. Normally, I love the strategy because it allows you a lot of movement and aggression with your pawns without having to compromise them early, and you can move the pieces around. However, the counterpoint to that is that sometimes you get into the situation where you've sort of outplayed yourself. For the next couple of moves, Luquisens pretty much has free reign over the board. I can see a pawn going to c5 from his side. I could easily see them trying to develop this e-file pawn, all of which will not have any available easy counters from Coronation. So Luquisens in a good position, but not a fan of that move. I'm not a fan of that move either. So I guess I guarantee right now, Coronations is breathing the biggest sigh of relief with the fact that they decided to move the rook onto f7 rather than from Luquisens.
Yeah, no, definitely. I feel like Coronations took out his queen a bit too early. It's never a wise decision to take it out too early, unless if maybe you have some tactic in mind and you have something in mind to play. But I feel like if you play your queen too early, it's just going to be kicked across the board like it is right now by the knight, which Luquisens placed on c6, and in that way that just gives the opponent, which in this case Luquisens, just gives him more momentum to build up his game and develop his pieces, because you're still trying to run away with your queen, you're still trying to tuck her away, and you're just wasting moves, you know what I'm saying? So like, at least if you took time to, oh my god, he didn't see the free knight. Oh my god. Oh, flip, that was a blunder. I think Coronations hurried to play rook. Yeah, hurried to play the rook on the e file. I guess he was just like looking at that open file. I was like, hey, I'm taking this. So the knight will mice. Or he didn't see the knight and just like, oh snap, I'm sure he's just kicking himself. And this happens, sometimes I'll make moves like this in a game, and then I'll be like, please, don't see it. Don't see it again. Oh my god, Luquisens, you had a second chance to put that knight back in a safe place. It's like, what's happening today? I think I'm gonna take away my prediction. I don't think. I'm sorry. I don't think. This is rough.
No.
This is rough. I didn't expect this early, especially from Coronations. I expected him to be the aggressive type, to like last week. It's very aggressive last week, and I didn't expect him to just like, every night take it, tata. Oh yeah, and now it's gone.
It's
100%
free, dude.
It was free. It was free
like how often you and I, we keep speaking about how, right? We keep speaking about how rare it is, rather, that at this level, or rather with the plays that we've seen, right? We've seen a lot of good chess players. Yeah. And generally speaking, you will never, ever get a free piece. Every single time you get something on the board, it's going to cost you something. Either 100. A piece that you have to sacrifice, positioning on the board, or you have to, for example, give up a situation where you'd only need 4 moves to get a strong checkmate, for example, in favor of getting a piece right now to defend yourself. There's a myriad ways that taking a piece should cost you. Very rarely do we see open situations where taking a piece would be 100% free, and even more rarely do we see a situation where that free piece is not punished a single time and the piece stays free. What's actually really ironic is that right now, one of the best moves I think available for Coronations is to try and advance this queen up onto c6, or force some kind of move from Luquisens with the bishop. So I don't know, Perfect. I don't know. Like, that c6 is actually taunting us at this point. It's like, this is so open, this is so free. This might be a situation where Coronations also feels that there's no way that Luquisens has just left that open. Sometimes you're in a situation where you are thinking 4 steps ahead, and your opponent is only thinking 2 steps ahead. So you end up doing your opponent's thinking for them, where you could actually punish them. They haven't thought about how to counter the punish, but you're thinking there's no way that they've left this open. So you end up not taking advantage of that open opportunity. Something we talk about like in different games outside of chess, right? You and I do a lot of esports, but something that's often talked about is that you have to respect your opponent, but there is such a thing as too much respect. Yeah, when you 100. Give too much respect. I mean, Coronation is actually, real talk, no cap, in a very bad position right now on the board. Not going to be able to, I mean, look where this knight is, look where the bishop is, look where the queen is, right? The queen now has gotten a little bit of additional defense from this knight that's sitting on f3, but there's no link-up play, right, between all these disparate pieces. It's almost like Coronations has just been moving these pieces around, right? All the pawns are still sitting on that 2 file, not really advancing in a decent way on that column. We still have a situation where for Loquisans, tucked away very safely in the back of the room. I don't know about that bishop move. You're threatening this rook though, but now it does nothing, right? I've been seeing a lot of this in this game, where one move happens and then the opponent's move, after the opponent's move, the person who made the original move is like, well, I actually can't do anything with this. I mean, how insane is it that we've gotten about halfway through the game right now, maybe like a third way through, and we're still, in all honesty, right, from the first 8 moves, not much has changed on the board right now. Something will have to change now, because Loquisans has got in for a situation where you're gonna you're gonna get yourself a free rock lost. You have to retreat on the queen. No, don't go for the queen trade. That was not the...
I don't know.
I think
why
this is really bad for Loquisans now. Before it wasn't so bad, but now it's gotten really bad.
It's just blunder after blunder after blunder on both sides. On both sides.
You don't know why?
Well, I'm saying it's just blunder after blunder after blunder on both sides, and it just seems like it's not getting better for another side. So yeah, this is really like he's been given so many chances. Coronations has been very generous throughout this game. So wow, this is a very exciting game to watch. I guess because like most of them are just like breaking the rules. You're just like, just like not seeing the obvious. And I guess maybe they're just giving each other too much respect in the game. And like I feel like a game at chess. Like I do agree with you. In some esports games and tournaments, there is such a thing as giving your opponent.
Wait.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, continue. I'm just quietly raging.
Okay. Okay, but yeah, I was just saying, like in a game of chess, I don't think there is such a thing as in some positions it might be true, but also there are positions where too much respect is not necessarily a bad thing, because you just want to make sure that you're always a step ahead and prepared for everything, right? So so I feel like, but at the same time, I feel like what's happening in Coronation is that he's following the textbook rules of chess. I guess some of these chess books, they tell you that don't just take any free piece that you just see on the board, because it could be bait. It could be a trap. Like they say, to take is a mistake. But there are some positions where it's like, bro, it's free. Just take it. So you should have that kind of that idea that maybe my opponent boo, so I'm just gonna just add more pressure to that boo and punish him. So yeah, you just have to punish everything. Just make sure that you're always a step ahead. And yeah, the Queens just keep on making them boo-boos. Just hectic. It's really tough.
Loquisans need to breathe right now. I think Loquisans is sort of flustering. Like, what I think happened to Loquisans? Sometimes when you're playing chess, you start recognizing on you, crap, I really messed up. Yeah. Then you try to overcompensate by, you look at the board and you're like, what can I still do to try and recover my position on the board in as few moves as humanly possible? And in that attempt to overcompensate, for example, right now we've seen that Loquisans has been chasing these special pieces really to the T, trying to force some trades. But the way that it's been working out, you tunnel vision on one piece, Coronations use that knowledge and that opportunity to take over all the special pieces that Loquisans had. Loquisans, in literally less than 3 moves, ended up losing a bishop, ended up losing a rook, ended up losing very strong positioning in the middle of the board now, only left with this knight to try and keep things together. And given the positioning of the knights as well as where these pawns are right, for Loquisans aggressive with the way that the board is set up, at this point, it's only really about what can I do to prevent losing or to try and force an early promotion, because that's realistically where we're at with the kind of play right now. I mean, look, the move there was to try and threaten the bishop, but because you're so tunnel visioned on for threatening the bishop that's sitting on e5, you forget about the fact that there's still that bishop on b7. The same bishop that took your rook, that took another knight, takes this knight, and then now Loquisans, you could see this, like this resignation, it wasn't because necessarily that all the moves are terrible from Loquisans, but Loquisans, it dawned on them that the way this game is going right now, I can't think clearly. And it was clear that Loquisans lost their nerve somewhere in the game. And after that, the game becomes literally impossible to play against an opponent of Coronation's caliber.
Yeah, definitely. It was just like I said, just blunder after blunder from the Queensons, and eventually he got punished and he got taken down. But yeah, shout out to the Coronations for grabbing the first win. And in this tournament, this is a tournament where you can't really afford to lose one game because it's 3 rounds, and losing any round could just cost you that. Actually, it will cost you that top spot because everybody, there's a high chance that you're gonna have like a bunch of people posted up in that top spot. But right now, we're tuned into the Clips versus Vuzam. I'm not sure if I'm butchering that name, but yeah, I'm gonna call him Vu. We have Clips against Vu live on stream. These are like two of the new guys in the tournament, and just looking at flat out, Clips does seem to be having a tough time. He's pretty much. Yeah, he's in a bad position. He only got three of his pawns, while White still has those 4 pawns on the king side, and they're all connected. From E to H. He still has pawns on that side of the board, while Clips has that one pawn on the C file that he might think of pushing, but yeah, it's just gonna like get stopped by the bishop and the rook. And it looks like White is just advancing his pawns and just trying to maybe get a promotion out of this. And Clips can't really do much in this position, and I feel like this should be just a resignation from Clips, because even looking at the advantage bar way on the left, it's going haywire. He just gave White the win. He's like, yeah, Clips doesn't have any chance right now. So I feel like, out of respect for your opponent, like who's this like Luquisins did, just resign and just give your opponent the win, because there's nothing that you could do here.
Just call GG.
Yeah,
nah. I'm trying to force the stalemate, fam. I'm forcing the stalemate.
Exactly. Man, bruh, come on. Just put down the piece and it's whatever. And look at this now. Yeah, it's pretty bad for
for example, right now, if I'm Clips, right, I am eating E7, because if I eat E7, it's acceptable for me, because in this situation, I would much rather have them. Oh, okay, there's your resignation. Fine, there's your respect.
Yeah, there's your respect.
Now I lose a rook, right? But I'm just trying to prevent. In this situation, I'm just preventing promotion. I don't really care about winning the game, right? If I prevent promotion, to try and force out a stalemate, but turns out it's not going to be happening anyway. GG.
Yeah, GG's. But yeah, unlucky for Clips. I guess he might have better luck in the next game. But now we have Lazy Cash and Siwu on the stream. And looking at this, Lazy Cash is one of the guys who've been here since day one. He's placed in the top two since he's been in the top two. He has been in the top three a couple of times, and his highest placement was second place. So he's still here to get that first place in the tournament. So hopefully this week is this week, to get that first place and get that 400 rands in cash. And looking at this here, so far, he is out for blood. This is pretty much over in Chai for Swu. So he should just put down the king and just call it GG's, because there's no chance here.
Yeah, there we go.
It seems like we're seeing a lot of resignations.
Did we just see 3 resignations back to back?
What? Back to back. And yeah, it's pretty rough. And I guess we can just jump into there's I think there's like 2 more matches left in the stream. So we have Sully and Volatile here. They, looking at their ratings, Sully does seem to have less of the smallest rating between the two, but he is giving Volatile a beating. He's giving him a thrashing. I guess that's the nicest way to say it. But yeah,
it's like dumpstering this game right now.
This is checkmate, right? Bad. Oh, yeah, it's pretty much checkmate at this point. Black has
it's not checkmate, but it's gonna be. I mean, it's mate in like 3 moves, right?
Yeah, so
you can, but you can. I mean, you still have to. Yeah, you can mate in 3 from this one. Yeah.
Yeah, you can mate in 3, and I feel like it's like even the advantage.
It'll really depend on what they decide to do.
And unless Sully doesn't see it, and then he messes up, and then But this is pretty much Chai for Black. There's not much you could do in this position besides resign and chop his king. Are we going to see another 4th resignation? Because he does seem to be taking a minute to think about this, and I guess the reality might be slowly sinking in and just saying that, yo, bruh, it is Chai. So Pelil, next better player. But yeah, he's taking his sweet time. But at the same time, time is not on his side. He only has just above a minute
only
left
1
to,
minute.
to think about this. And now he has the pressure of time. He has the pressure coming from White. This is pretty much shy. It is pretty much shy for him.
It's actually mate in 1. Yeah, I was wrong about it. Yeah, it's mate in 1. Yeah. Feels bad.
Feels bad for the man.
What?
Another resignation from him.
Number 4, resignation. Are you kidding me? That's amazing.
Yeah, that was the second last game of the first round, and we have the last game, which is Problem X against Taps Jr. And looking at this seems to be a bit tight. It seems to be a bit spicy. Okay, looks like Black is going for the promotion there on the A file. And it looks like Black has 1 pawn, a bishop, and a rook on the game, while White has 3 of his pawns. But then, this is pretty tight because Black has advanced the A pawn all the way to A3 and might look to promote it. And but then White still has those 3 pawns, but the 3 pawns on the D file are doubled up, and it's gonna be really, really hard for White to get this promotion. Because he's going to lose those pawns one by one. And it seems like he's just donating them.
One by one.
Yeah, he just seems to be donating them.
This is actually a really tough situation. Like, the comeback here is very, very hard for White. Right now, this is the one good opportunity that Problem X has been able to put out, right? Because now you're forcing Taps Jr. to choose. Am I going to go and prevent this promotion? Or am I going to try secure my own promotion? And it seems it's going to be both at the same time. And also, you know that in this situation, if Taps Jr. makes the decision, or rather, if Problem X makes the decision to try and just get rid of that pawn, you are very happy to go for that full kind of pawn trade and put yourself in a situation where you can now control the game, having the superior numbers with your special pieces. And now, it's a couple of moves away from checkmate. Very little you can do here. I think this is what, mate in 3? It's difficult because you don't want to actually move up that pawn that's sitting on A3 because it's being defended currently by the bishop on C5. Moving it anywhere puts it into a very where you kind of can only really rely on this rook to mount the defense in that particular arena. Now you have to start advancing the king. So despite the fact that Taps Jr. is probably going to win this one out, you can still decide to make it a bit more complicated on the side of Problem X. But yeah, we're getting close to that point here, Mr. Perfect. Couple of more moves.
Yes,
and then we're going to have ourselves GG's right now.
Yeah, it's mate right now.
Feels bad.
What?
Nah, mate in 2. There we go.
No.
Yeah, you do this to protect the queen so that after you promote, you're not stuck in this bad position. Now you move. That was actually a mistake. That really shouldn't have happened.
Nah, man.
Still does. I don't think it matters that much. The game is.
It doesn't matter, but like.
And the thing is, you don't want to give up the rook. I feel like this could have been a lot easier. Yeah, this could have been a bit easier. I feel like Taps Jr. made this more complicated for themselves than they needed to. Yeah. But it also doesn't matter, right? You already won the game. You have time advantage. You have the piece advantage. The opponent has 10 seconds left effectively at this point. It's not the most perfect situation, but you're fine. Now, that's what I'm saying. You still have the Taps Jr. has more time left. 10 seconds above Problem X.
But can you wait?
You have 10 seconds above. There's nothing you can do. Yeah, checkmate. Yeah, checkmate. This could have happened 7 moves ago, but it's fine.
Yeah, but that's GG's. And with that, we are done with the first round of week 5, and we should be heading into round 2. And just looking at the scoreboard, looking at who's fighting for that top spot. So we got Taps Jr., we got Vusum, and we got Coronations, we got Lazy Cash, we got Sully, and we got Kapalot, and we also got Emilio in the top spot, fighting for that that top spot in the tournament. So we might see them going up against each other. I'm not sure how the pairings will be, but yeah, looking at this, it's gonna be pretty rough. It's gonna be a bloodbath, in that top 6 position. So yeah, so I guess we could start with. Did Jaden lose his first match? Oh snap! Jaden lost his first match, and he's one of the people I had predicted that he might take it this week. Seems like it's gonna be. But he can still fight for that second place spot, or third place. But yeah, it's gonna be tough. So right now we have the winners against the winners. So who do you want to see? Should we check out Coronation, Silly? We could let's actually look at Jaden Smith. Let's look at Jaden Smith against Clips.
I mean, we haven't actually seen. Yeah, I was about to say we haven't seen Jaden on on thing just yet on stream, and Jaden has been here every single week, so let's make sure that they get their own due regard. Nice classic opener coming in from Clips here. I mean, look at this. This is, you were talking earlier about textbook chess. This is literally textbook chess that was
the wide opening, the basic wide opening, and obviously, Jaden maybe knows is like, nah, I'm not gonna let you have that, so I'm just gonna destroy your position by taking that knight. But Clips is still in a good position, not in any kind of danger as yet. But yeah, well played so far by Jaden by just like destroying that opening. Because if he let if Jaden had let Clips develop his game, using that opening, that was going to really put Clips in a good position because you'd have like total control of the center. But yeah, so far so good for Jaden. He's one pawn up so far. So yeah, I guess I'm excited to see how this game pans out. And Clips does decide to castle queenside. I guess it's an interesting decision. Maybe looking to do a kingside attack. If Black decides to do a kingside attack, I guess we shall see.
And I think this is about defending d5 because he threatened the rook that's sitting on f6 way to g5. So if you keep this rook that's sitting on, after you do this particular castle, you get protection onto d5. So if you want to advance your knight that's sitting right now on c3 to either d5 or b5, you have that additional rook to provide a layer of protection with the pawn. So you're not just relying on one piece to apply that pressure. So I think this is also just to give you a lot more freedom on that file going forward. Queen move that came out here from Clips. I think the best response when you're playing white, we've spoken about this on stream before, that it's sort of your responsibility to play the game aggressively. Now you're going to be put on the defense. You're not going to lose the knight in this situation, but the only way to defend, to keep the queen alive and to keep the bishop alive, because now this bishop's under threat from the enemy bishop on e7, you're going to have to move your own queen to d2, which does keep that defense, but now closes off this d file in its entirety, makes the game a little bit more complicated. Although I'm not sure if I like the move back from Jaden to do this, because now the queen just tracks back, right? You're not back to take the bishop. She's not really being put into danger. There's no threatening pieces on either side of her. And you get that additional threat going onto the g7 file. You can threaten now the rook that's sitting deep in the corner. If you're Jaden, right now is a really good time to castle short. No, that's not the move. That's not the move.
That was...
That's not the move.
No.
The question is, can this be pun? I don't think that's the move either, though. I don't think Clips did the right move either. I really feel like you just go all in and you take g7, man. You can't do it now because the pawns move forward. Sorry, pawns move forward, but I don't think you go in this direction. If you must retreat, different side, because now what does the queen do? She doesn't really do anything from this side. She can still keep a little bit of control on the G and H files, but there's no pawns in that way to provide additional protection. You can close off her route of movement by advancing your own pawn from g7 to g5. In that way, there's little places that she can go and feel comfortable while doing so, and you're still keeping the pressure everywhere else. The one caveat is that you can go into an immediate check move by going on to h5, but it doesn't get you anything. It's not the kind of check that can allow you to get further advantage. So now you have to do this. You have to sort of force the knight away, but Jaden's happy to do this. Now you put the knight in a very safe spot, not going to really do anything, and there's the check we just spoke about, but it's not going to change anything for Clips. Like, where does the queen go from here after this check? Jaden has a million and different ways of resisting this check. Not very easy for further chase to come through. And now the queen is, we're literally right back at square one, right? Queen is doing nothing. We've spent 4 moves now on the queen for Clips without being able to develop better pieces on the board, and hasn't really given that much of an advantage back to Clips in the situation. Erstwhile Jaden, you've gone back to being able to defend your king, you've advanced some pawns forward, and you still have the queen covering a lot of easy surface area, making it difficult for Clips to try and appropriate this mid portion of the board. I think your boy Jaden's out here. It's a very good game from them so far.
No, definitely. Jaden is, I feel like position-wise, he is in a very, very good position. But I also do like this play by Clips by doubling up his rooks on the D file. I guess he's like looking to control that part of the board. So far, it's being protected by, the queen and the knight from being exploited. So I'm sure maybe Clips is going to try to add more pressure on that end. I guess also looking at Jaden Smith, he's trying to advance his pawns close into White's territory. just to try and break that formation and just disrupt, the queen side a bit and just open up the position. I guess maybe he might be planning a queen side attack on his end. But I guess, yeah. So I guess yeah, we gonna see some interesting play. But still, position wise, I still give it to Jaden. He's still in a good spot. His pawn structure is still, it's still set nice on the board, and I feel like he has nothing much to worry about. But Clips does really need to play this carefully because any blunder or any mistake he makes going forward could cost him the game, and that could be really detrimental to his play.
I'm not really sure I like this move. I imagine that where you can go next is you try to threaten on a5, maybe, but by clips, yeah. But Jaden accounted for this, right? If you go a5 after this, it's actually a really good move. But there are certain knight moves that require like the double setup, and when you double setup like this, the opponent can counter. Now that there's a pawn sitting on a5, that move is going to be easily countered by the rook sitting on black. This is very, very good because now we're back in the situation similar to what happened to Clips' queen, right? On the H side of the board, is you've taken, I believe, 3 moves on this knight, but where are you now? You can't actually do anything with this knight, given where it's positioned. You can't go to a3, it gets eaten. You can stay where you are or drop deeper back onto either b2 or d2, but doing so gives a lot of free movement towards the queen to move directly onto the c2, eat that pawn, and have the backup from that rook there to potentially force an early checkmate. Can't have that happening. So now there's just this landlocked little knight that's sitting there, not really able to do all that much. And Clips recognizes how bad the situation is, so he's trying to flee right now aggressively. He's trying to force a situation where the king can provide some of that additional backup to b3. But he knew this was coming. He knows that now Jaden, you can look how aggressively Jaden can play just with these pawns without having to actually do anything else. Now that this board is set, Jaden can chill. Jaden can be like, sweet, let's see what I can make happen with these pawns. I've got a pawn that's sitting on f-file that I could maybe look towards develop a pawn, use it aggressively. Because now you have a really messed up decision, right? As Clips. Do I go for this pawn that is going to give better positioning to either this queen or the rook? Or do I try to do something else on the board, knowing full well that I'm going to just let them have a free pawn eat, and now suddenly I'm in a situation where the rook and the queen are unleashed effectively for free. I would hate to be Clips in this situation, honestly. I would not know what to do. Like, what's the best move forward? And I think it shows with how much time Clips has been spending thinking about what the next move is and the best one possible.
I think the thing is, right now, the pawn exchange is inevitable, especially if that's the idea from black. Because, Clips can't really take that pawn on a4, because that'll just leave his knight hanging, and, that's going to be a free knight for black. So he runs away. And this is pretty much chai for Clips now. This is very, very bad. This is a mate in how many? Yes.
There's still a chance.
For Clips. if Jaden doesn't play, yeah.
It's not gonna. I think like for Clips, right? There is still,
still hope for him, but no, there's no hope for him. I'm sorry. No, there's no hope.
It is sort of predicated on Jaden not necessarily finishing this one. Nah, there's no hope. There's no hope. I'm sorry. After that particular pawn move, there's no more hope. Yeah, now it's GG.
Yeah, if Jaden just decides to, decides to switch off his brain for a second, maybe for a couple of moves, and maybe Clips has a chance. But even still, this position is pretty bad. We got the two rooks eyeing down those 2 files, the A and C file. We got the queen, which is like on the 3rd rank on C3. We got the 2 pawns already in white territory. Yes, it's pretty much chai. And none of the pieces. The queen is overseas. The queen is overseas having a vacation day on the H file. We got the rook also there in the middle of the board, just chilling. That's pretty much nothing that Clips can do in this position. And this is pretty much GG's. I feel like Clips should just resign and just show respect for his opponent. You know how I go down, man. You know how I go down. Let's not waste my time. Let's not waste your time. Let's just close it off.
Yeah. Normally we disagree, but here I agree. Here I agree. You should just GG out.
Yeah, and just looking at the scoreboard as well. Coronations has finished his 2nd round, and he is on 2 out of 2 wins. So he just needs one more win, and he could win this week again. And looking at, and we also have Mr. Vu, who also has 2 out of 2 wins as well. So this is yeah. Now we also have Jaden. Oh no, we got Jaden on 1 out of 2 wins. Yeah, because he lost his first round, and that was GG's. Yeah, but that was a good match. Well played by Jaden. You know, for making sure that he punishes Clips for those little silly mistakes, and unlucky for Clips. Yeah, this is pretty much heavy for him. I think he's sitting on. He has no win so far.
That was a painful one.
Unlucky for the homie.
Yeah,
I guess
that one hurt, dude. That one hurt to watch.
Yeah, I guess Clips just has to go back home and gym a bit more. Strengthen his chest, those chest neurons and those pathways, and make sure that he comes back a bit strong next week, and he could maybe place himself, put himself in the top 8 and qualify for the playoffs, and maybe could also place in the top 3 so he can at least walk away with some cash prize. But yeah, so maybe we could jump into another match. We still have 3 matches of the second round left. I think we can jump into one of the winners. So most of the winners have finished their matches, but we still have a couple lots against Volatile, and we also have Loquisans against Problem X. But I'm interested to see Volatile and Capalot playing. So we have that on stream.
A lot.
Yeah, we have that on stream at the moment. And looking at this, Volatile seems to be winning by a huge margin. He's 5 points up.
That's really bad.
He's still in his basic. And
there we go. So
resign. We're seeing a lot of resignations this week.
Nah.
We're seeing a lot of resignations.
Well, it looks like today is just everybody, it seems, has been taking too much of your advice, Perfect. They were like, well, if I show respect to my opponents, I must just resign, right? Fine. That's what you wanted, Perfect. Okay, here you go. I'm not
really, I'm not really trying to tell people to resign, by force. But I'm just saying, man, just show respect to your opponent.
You heard it here first. Perfect is telling you. If you are behind by even 2 pieces, call GG, resign. Perfect gave you the instruction.
Hey, man, if it's chai, it's chai. If Marcel Pelil. That's not what it is. But but it's just the game of chess, man. It's just the game of chess. And look at the comment section. Well, we got Clips in the comment section. He's saying that I should say it right. It's Clips. I guess he didn't like me calling him Clips. I mean, if you didn't add that many Z's, what's the point of adding so many Z's? That's just being, why are we doing that? But yeah, so far we have Problem X against Loquisans.
Why are we doing that?
Why are we doing that? So we have Problem X against Loquisans, and looking at the board, I think that this is the last match of the second round, and after this match we will jump into the third round where we'll see the people. So far we have the match. So far looking at the scoreboard, we got Taps Jr. in the top spot. As well as Mr. Vu and Coronations also in the top spot. So yeah, this is pretty much hectic on it's gonna be a 3-way. We're gonna see who's gonna take that top spot.
I think we're gonna have to have tiebreakers, eh?
Nah.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I think so mathematically, right? Because Taps Jr. has 2, Vusam has 2, Coronations has 2. Whoever wins this one is also if Problem X wins this one. Okay, it's only if Problem X wins, I guess. No, Problem is 0. Okay, never mind.
No.
All right, never mind. Yeah, never mind.
Yeah, it's a 3-way fight for the top spot. So, hopefully,
we might actually still have. Hopefully, it's still possible. We might have a 2-way tie though, because one of these 2 plays each other, and then one of the 3 now, and then if one of the top 2 wins and the person who's playing someone else wins as well, then we will have 2 players on 3-3. But if the person playing a non-2-2 player loses, then we have clear number 1. Okay.
Yeah, but also let's not forget to mention the tiebreaker points as well, which just help us breakers as well. That also is dependent on the tiebreaker points. So even if there is a tie at the top in terms of the number of rounds won, we'll still have to look at the tiebreaker points and see who has the most tiebreaker points and who's gonna take that first place spot. But yeah. Loquisans and this is the second round, right? So they're both on 0-0. So we shall see. Oh my god, what happened? Looks like Sully decided to Oh yeah, it looks like Sully is going to be taking a seat for now, because he doesn't seem to be in at the moment.
Hmm,
I don't know what
that's
happens.
unfortunate.
Yeah, I don't know what happens on happened on this side, but yeah. But just like looking at this, Lequisens is pretty much in a bad position. Like Black has a lot of points in the game, and I feel like Black should really start to just I feel like Black should just get rid of that E5 pawn, and once that E5 pawn is out of the game, then yeah, it's pretty much time for White.
Resign.
Resign. We should have a button, resign every time. Like hey, but
This is
Nicholas?
the game ends in what, 6 moves now from here?
Oh,
I really don't like that queen trade. I feel like if you're this far behind in the
Mhm.
situation that you're in as Lequisens, even when there's an enemy queen on the board, it's your most powerful piece by far. I mean, you've spoken about how much you love seeing teams that still have the availability of the double knights, right? And the myriad of strategies available to you with double knights.
Yeah.
If you have double knights and your opponent has literally 0 special pieces, the situation for you is so good on the board that even if you have your own double knights, it's really not worth trading out the queen for that one, because now you're in the situation where they have so many pawns, advancement of time, right? You are going to do your best to prevent that from happening, but you can't do everything all by yourself. And now you're in the situation where if you're problem X, you are 100% happy to trade out for these young knights, because if you
Yeah.
do so, then suddenly you're putting yourself in a situation where you are now capable of having free advancement, free movement for the pawns without having to worry about these knights. So this F3 knight right now for Problem X, any cost necessary, doesn't matter what you have to do. At the same time though, X is slowly but surely try to encroach, force this knight into really bad positions. And look at this. You're chasing this knight around, right? And all the moves that have come from Lequisens have been trying to keep this bad boy alive. At the same time, you've done all these moves, but look at where the advancement is for Problem X. Problem X has been 100% happy to allow these moves to happen because you've now moved at least all of your pawns up. You get a free... Wait, what? Lequisens? What happened? Oh, God.
Oh yes.
Lequisens lost concentration for 1 second. That's game over. Just resign.
GG,
All right,
yeah.
now I'm with you perfect.
Resign.
We have a king
Resign.
against double knights. Yeah,
Resign.
GG. Just resign.
Where's the button? Where's the button? Resign.
Just resign.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
Like, there's no you have nothing besides the king on the board.
And out of time. There we go.
GG's.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess unfortunate for
GG's.
Lequisens, and that was the last round of the second round. Well, that's the last game of the second round. Yeah, so we might be now any moment from now we'll be going into the third and final round of week 5 of the Ekasi Esports Chase series.
All
And
right.
if you guys
now we have to do look at the first bill.
who do we see? Who do we check out? I want to see the top players. So we got Coronations against Taps Jr. Yeah, we're going for that one.
There we go.
We're going for that one. Definitely. Who's gonna win? Because the winner here will take the top spot. If who's the other guy who's the top spot? We got Mr. Vu.
Vusam.
Yeah, Vusam. We got Mr. Vu.
Vusam.
Vusam. I'm just gonna.
But Taps Jr. has 2 tiebreaker points though at the moment. So
Oh, so he has the advantage. So if he wins this match, he could see himself in the top spot. Your tiebreaker points. But yeah, so and how many tiebreaker points does who's this?
only 1. Taps Jr. has 2. Vusam and Coronation only have 1.
Oh yeah, this is gonna
And
be pretty
Vusam
bad.
and Coronation are the only other have 2 wins. So yeah, Taps Jr. is definitely ahead. If Taps Jr. wins this one, I think it's guaranteed that Taps Jr. comes first. But if Coronations is able to win this one, then Taps Jr. Then it actually depends on the matchup between Vusam. Who's Vusam playing right now? Vusam is playing Volatile. So for Coronation has to win to try and force a chance. But then even then, it's not guaranteed. But if Taps Jr. wins, it's a guaranteed you're going to the top. And the way things are looking now, though, I think Coronation will... This is a very interesting game, right? Like, if I look at the positioning on the board right now, like, you just did a nice little knight for bishop trade, whatever. The big thing for me is the positioning of this black knight that's sitting on d4. Very interesting place to be. It's difficult to assail that particular block, from any given portion of the board without like advancing your queen or advancing a bishop into a somewhat mediocre position. So you can just leave this here for as long as humanly possible, see what you can do with it. And it does mean that you are now allowed to, you can leave these pawns that are sitting in this formation right behind this knight and allow the knight to move around, have a bit more freedom, and you don't have to worry about this queen, right? We saw in the previous game what can happen if you try to advance the queen on the board before you're really clear as to whether or not the queen can easily retreat and advance. If you're not clear on that, then the opponent can trap you in a situation where the queen gets siloed on one part of the board and does nothing. But in this situation, you've only advanced the pawns on C, D, and E. Leaves a lot of movements on either A, B, or GH for the queen. Lots of movement to track back if you need to. You're not going to get the free pawn onto F4 because of this movement that's gone out onto D5. But you're not playing with a rush, right? Even though you have this queen advanced, even though you have all these pawns on the board, you're not stressed. You're really thinking about controlling the game slowly from here on out. But the advantage, though, is still, in terms of the engine, very heavily favored for Coronation. And I've seen this a lot where the engine seems to favor, in these sort of like deadlock situations, the less movement you've had to have to get to the same position as your opponent, the better the engine grants your chances for winning out the game.
Yeah, no, it's just like, the fundamentals, it's just the fundamentals of chess. And, to this, Luquisens does, retaliate his knight back into E6, just, attacked by the C3 pawn, by the C3 pawn, and also just apply a bit more pressure to that, pawn on F4. I feel like he could go for the exchange, maybe place the knight on E7, attacking the knight on D5 because it seems to be the only piece that's protecting that F4 pawn. But obviously there's still the possibility for White just to push the pawn forward and he'll be fine. So I'm sure White is not really stressing much about that pawn. He knows that whatever happens to it, it'll be fine. But yeah, I feel like White should just focus on developing his game, getting his pieces into the game, and because right now Black seems to be focused on that pawn, and I feel like he still has his knights, his black square knights, and also his black square bishop, and the knights in their original positions, and they're not in the game, while most of the pieces from Coronations are well within the game, and he has. I feel like both sides are fighting for that center. But it seems like White does have more pressure on the center compared to Black. And also another interesting thing I want to point out is that Black decided to castle queen side. And I feel like that was not maybe the best decision, especially since he advanced the C pawn into to C5, which does weaken the queen side a bit more, while the king side is still very much intact. Literally none of the pieces that side have moved and are still yet to be included into the game. But are we gonna see that, or are we just gonna is it gonna be a slow play, by Taps Jr.? Because it's pretty
right now the way that Taps Jr. This actually, the game, in my opinion, this move, I really like this move the Coronations did, putting this pawn onto F5. The state of the game as it was earlier, where Taps Jr. had some decent control over the midboard, has completely evaporated. We're now in a situation where most of that control is sitting for Coronations. And it's also kind of interesting, right? You were mentioning how the castling onto queen side for Taps Jr. did weaken that portion of the board. But if we look where the castling happened for Coronations, did make a castle a bit longer side, but also in a situation where the opposing queen is right near the castle position, which is quite interesting. And I'm not sure about that one. I'm not sure about that one from Coronations. That was a very aggressive move with that knight. That was not worth it at all.
Well, so you don't recommend exchanging the knights?
When you only have one knight left, no, I'm not down with this because I'm okay with knight swaps, right? If you're getting double of the opponent something, then it's okay. But now you're out 2 knights. You still have Coronation still has 1 knight available. I mean, you still have double bishop, right? You still have a queen that's very far out. You have double bishops. You have a queen that's very far out. You have the situation where you're not really that worried about your king being threatened either because of where this rook is sitting at the moment. So for Taps Jr., yeah, sure, you got yourself the additional knight, right? But it didn't. Like, look where the pawn that got the knight is. Look where the queen is. And where the rest of the board is positioned for Taps Jr. It doesn't feel like that move actually gave Taps Jr. an advantage, right? You're
No,
actually
no,
playing
no.
defensively, despite the fact that you were the first opponent. So I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this. At the same time, though, it's not, anything can still happen, right? It's not like the bishops are very well developed from Coronation either, except for the one that's playing aggressively that we see right now. So it still does mean that despite the fact that you may only have the 1-1 instead of the double, you technically still have more options because you haven't utilized those options just yet in the same way that they've done on the side of Coronations. I don't know. We'll have to see how this goes, where this development is going to land for Taps Jr. in the long run.
No, definitely. Like look here, this is pretty bad for looking at for Taps Junior position wise. You know, and now I guess his position doesn't get any better, especially with that those double up pawns on the F file. And the queen is very much like out of the game. It's like just sitting there on the H file. I don't know if it's waiting for, you know, I feel like it's the time to include it into the game, and as well also develop those pieces because they're still in the original positions, the black square bishop and the knight. And as I say that, he does, you know, get the knight involved, and I'm sure he notices that, you know, he has to get the knight involved because, you know, he needs that support, that extra support by those, because those are key pieces in developing your game in a good position, especially in the opening game, and also in the opening, and also in the mid game. So yeah, looking at this position so far, it's pretty rough for Black, but I feel like there's still a chance for him. I don't think he should hit the resign button just as yet, but he's still in a decent position so far. And then also, wait, I think there might be an update here.
So,
oh no, we still have, so we still got 3 matches happening. So yeah,
so right now,
sorry.
I feel like this game's over, if I'm honest.
For Taps Jr.
Like this game's over.
For Taps Jr. Yeah.
Well, it's not over, but yeah, it's not looking good for Taps Jr. Yeah. I'm thinking now, like, this move that's just been done by Coronations, moving. So, by the way, you can predict on the engine, right? And I've been trying to see how many of these I could predict. And this move, in my opinion, is the best possible one for Coronations. You now either force the B7 pawn to move up to B6, making it that the king doesn't feel as comfortable now sitting behind that file. If you don't do that, suddenly queen, you know, there's a queen and a rook on A and B. You know, checkmate will come very shortly thereafter. And you still have availability of this pawn, of this bishop, excuse me, this black bishop. Right now it's sitting on C1, but clearly for Coronations, setting later in the game. One of the things I was actually going to mention about why the queen isn't moving, and ironically enough, it necessitated moving this bishop up to now, is to make sure that you protect F4. This pawn is the most important pawn on the board right now for Taps Jr. Without this pawn, the game would already be lost. The fact that this pawn is here is preventing this bishop from being able to advance onto E3. She can't get useful from that side. You're preventing any kind of movement from pawns on the F file. The king can't do anything on G file. So this pawn cannot move. It has to be there. And I mean, you sort of force a situation now where you just go for a trade, but at the very least, this opens up the board a little bit, right? There's more space to be moved around. Now, from here on out, Taps Jr. can only play aggressively and offensively. If they do manage to do so, though, and keep that up, I actually think this can go well for them, right? If they literally, from here on out, never defend and just go all in, right? I can see this game still going well for them. However, if it's like 3 moves and the game ends. So this is a really stressful position to be in if you're in the position of Taps Jr. because you also understand that there is very little leeway available for you in terms of what you can actually do to try and recover the game from this position. Like you've been mentioning a lot of the times, the queen and the bishop, where they are on this particular side of the board, very far away from the king. So they will not be able to go back and help defend if things... And also with the positioning on the board from Coronations, you know who can't do anything? This knight can do literally nothing. There's no move available for this F6 knight. Frustrating, right? You went ahead earlier to try and force a trade of the double knights, confident that with your own knights and bishop, you can still make plays happen on the board. But your knight, rook, bishop, and queen are all on one side of the board and not really able to do all that much by themselves. And Taps Jr., you need to play aggressively. Now you're on the defensive because if you do not deal in some capacity with this bishop that's now moved onto A3, the game can be... This can be made in 3 moves from here. See how Taps Jr. will decide to stop this. But if you don't stop this, this will be mate in 3 moves. So that's going to be the question: is what is done from this position to recover the game?
Yeah, I feel like right now, if Tapster doesn't follow, your advice so far, obviously, which he can't hear, but it's gonna be chat for him. He can't afford any mistakes right now. He can't afford any blunders, and yeah, but at the same time, Lequiston shouldn't be too complacent because in this position, he could still make a blunder and he could really mess up the game. But yeah, looking at the position right now, Taps Jr. is in trouble. And he just responded with the
mate in
knight.
1. GG. I think the game's over.
No,
the game's over.
It's GG's.
It's mate in 1. The game's literally. If you move queen to b7, queen to b7, game over. No, there's still a knight. Oh, cool. Thank God, there's still a rook. The rook on g7 is preventing the mate.
Yeah, I'm like, wait, where's the mate one? I'm not seeing it. But no, but he's still under hot water.
I missed the
still under hot water. So yeah, this match can go on for a couple of for a couple more minutes, but I feel like right now it's just about to reach this climax. But I guess what I would like to see is how Vusum is doing against Volatile, because Vusum is one of the people who's competing for that top spot. So I guess we could check and see what's happening on that side. So we got Vusum against Volatile, and it seems like Volatile is winning this.
Volatile is indeed winning this pretty hard right now.
Yeah,
pretty hard.
Yeah, because he has the queen. This is pretty rough for Vusum. Oh, he came all this way just to lose it at the end, at the finish line. But I guess it just makes things a bit easier for us because now we don't have to deal with tiebreakers.
We just have straight shots towards victory at the end. Lol. Right now, I mean, it's not impossible for Vusum to come back in the situation. You still have some pawns in some very promising positions to try and force some promotions. The only issue is that for Volatile is doing everything in their power to prevent that from happening. Literally going on a pawn gobble up mission, right? Volatile is going to be in the situation where for them the priority of winning the game is eating as many pawns as possible. For Vusum, it's protecting as many as you can. Easier said than done, especially considering that Vusum can also look to try and get their own promotion. And you're in a situation right now where it's not very easy. I feel like you get the promotion first, right, on black, because you're going to force the check. Here we go. Next move, pawn forward. 2 moves to promote for Volatile. But at the same time, if Vusum gets the promotion first, then suddenly you might find yourself in a check position. Yeah, here we go. So queen to f2, force the check. Here we go. Easy promotion, easy checkmate. Game's over. Okay, so it's not game over because Volatile is gonna lose the pawn. It's not over. Yeah, it's not over.
It's gonna force the exchange.
It's pretty much game over. Let's be serious.
You could do even that pawn on the b file is not gonna get far, especially with the queen. So if you try anything, just move the queen. And then there it goes. And yeah, it's pretty much GG's for whites. So I think you know what you should do. Do you know what Vusum could do in this position?
Nah. Get checkmated.
So
they should resign, but they didn't.
But yeah, but that's GG's for him, and that really puts him in a tough spot because now that puts him in the battle for second place. Because now him and Volatile.
What that means?
Him and Volatile are tied for third place in this position. Oh no! Actually, this could be like a 4-way tie for third place.
Yeah, for second place. Oh my God. Well, it all depends on what happens in this Taps Junior coronation match, right? Which is somehow still going.
Oh yeah, for second place. Oh yeah, it's going to be tight.
I thought for sure by now Taps Junior would have lost already, but Taps Junior is actually not in the worst position. Like, look what's happening on the board right now. Still has the queen available. Still have your rook. Still have a bishop. You're in a situation right now where you can't get mated in like easily. You're gonna be running around for quite. Okay, never mind. As I say that. Things have changed. There we go. There's a checkmate. Never mind. I didn't like that last move that we saw there. But yeah, it happened.
And that's GG's. that is GG's, and
Yeah,
that
boy,
puts,
Coronation did it.
yeah, Coronations goes and takes the top spot. So he's the winner again for this week. So I get my prediction correct again. Coronations, yeah, making me proud again, taking the top spot, making sure my predictions is on point. I seem to be doing good in these predictions. You know, we should have something like where, you know, people will predict the winner, and then, you know, that should give you the win. But yeah, looking at the standings.
Ooh, also, Volatile got the additional tiebreaker point, so they actually got over Taps Junior.
Yeah, so Volatile takes second place. So yeah, so the tournament, I guess this is Chai. So we have we got Coronations in the top spot with 3 out of 3 wins and 4 tiebreaker points. Then we got Volatile in second place with 2 out of 3 wins with 4 tiebreaker points. And we got Taps Junior in third place, who unfortunately is, you know, could have, you know, tried to fight for a tiebreaker, but he only has 3 tiebreaker points. So thank you to the tiebreaker points. You just helped, you know, distinguish the 2 players. But unlucky for them, you know, because tiebreaker points is something that you can't really, it's not in your full control. You know, it's all dependent on your on the other players, because it basically sums up the points of your opponents. And in this case, he fell short.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a really close contest. I think it's one of these situations as well where, as things heat up, I mean, we really spoke about this at the beginning. Yeah. Despite how many points you have, despite your experience, despite how well the weeks have gone for you, everybody's leveling up, everyone's getting better. I mean, I don't think we've actually seen Volatile place in the top 6 at any given point. You know, Taps Junior, Coronation, they can lose games. Lazy Cash can lose. Anybody can lose a game of chess if you're not on the ball all the time. And it's been really interesting to see like the adaptation to not having the best starts and having to try and recover in the next one. But I think the final results here is, from the games we saw, probably one of the most fair reflections of these standings. You know, sometimes, let's be honest, in these couple of weeks, we've had some major shocks where people play amazingly round 1 and round 2, then sort of fall to pieces in round 3. But I do think Coronations was probably the most consistent today, played really, really well throughout the day, so probably definitely deserves to be first. Volatile surprised us with the strong performances, definitely deserves to be second. And Taps Junior, you broke my heart, so you do not deserve second. You only get third.
So, oh yeah, you had your money bet on him, but unfortunately, maybe next week. But yeah, no, shout out to the boys, you know, shout out to the participants who played, and who also came through. Hopefully next week, you know, they'll have a chance, you know, we'll see a different winner, you know, because, you know, we'd like to see, you know, spice things up, you know. But Coronations, you know, so far is on a groove, you know, winning two out of the 5 weeks of the chess weekly series, weekly leagues so far. But yeah, there was some fire action. And yeah, also shout out to you guys who've been watching at home. Thank you for tuning in. And if you guys see these deals down here, I'm just like pointing at them. So if you guys would like to get your hands on those awesome deals, which are exclusive, which are exclusive to Vodacom World, be sure to head down to Vodacom World in Johannesburg in Midrand to get access to these awesome deals. You know, maybe if you want to upgrade, you know, getting your phone, getting your handset, maybe it's your phone, maybe, because some of these guys are playing on their phone, you know, so maybe it's your phone. Maybe if you do that little upgrade, that could also upgrade your game a bit, you know what I'm saying? So head down to Vodacom World to get access to these awesome exclusive deals. And also shout out to them, because without them, this chess series wouldn't be here today. And also be sure to tune into the other streams as well. We have other tournaments happening. We have the Ekasi Esports Free Fire series happening every Friday at 4 p.m. If you guys want to check that out, be sure to check it out on our YouTube channel. We also have the FIFA 21 series, which actually we started with the group stages. Yesterday we had Group A happening. I think it's going to wrap up today. So be sure to check it out every Saturday at 2 p.m. And obviously you got the chess series every Sunday at 3 p.m. And remember, the chess series is open for everybody, well, within South Africa, so make sure to sign up. Every restrictions open up on Monday at 2 p.m. on the Ekasi Esports chess series page, which is www.ekasisports.africa/chess-series. If you missed the link, we'll post it up on the description. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I think this is the time today. You can just plug.
For them plug. So
yeah.
So if you want to try catch up with me and follow me, you can, a couple of places you can find me. You can find me at Twitter at Snaregrodamus. If you want to find me on YouTube, just go to Curved Thought, where more videos are going to be coming out this week. I've been a bit lazy on those ones. My bad, but don't worry, we'll be out here. I'm going to be a bit more active from now on my Instagram as well. So you can follow me at R1HLAMVU. And finally, of course, come find me on Twitch TV/Snarecasting to catch me while I'm gaming on that side. I think I actually have too many socials. I need to cut those back.
Yeah, I also have a bit of socials, but like I'm barely active on them. But if you guys want to follow me, you can follow me at Perfect Count Becky on Twitter. And if you want to follow me on Instagram, well, it's pretty empty there. But like, you can just show me some love and follow me by following me at Count Becky Perfect on name switched around. And also, I think that's enough plugging for us. But yeah, let me just plug the EE social. So if you want to follow Ekasi Esports, just stay up to date with what's happening in the teams, because we you know, here at Ekasi Esports we have a CS:GO team, we have a Fortnite team. So if you guys want to stay up to date and find out more about those guys, be sure to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, which is at Ekasi Esports across all socials. Also be sure to show us some love, drop a like, subscribe, you know, do all the right things just to stay up to date. And I guess, yeah, for this week, I guess we can just wrap it off by saying thank you guys. I guess we shall see you on the flip side.